So today I have Angela with me again. This is Angela Beyer here, and she is a health coach, personal trainer, and was Miss Universe. And she has sort of devoted her life now to helping people, for a lifestyle of fitness and building muscles and sculpting their body and being fit and happy. And thank you for joining me again, Angela.
Well, thank you for having me again. I'm super excited to be here.
So I asked for her to come back because I wanted to talk more about muscle stuff. And I was interested more in what she does and what she does with her clients, because I'm very fascinated. So, because I think you said something about helping women with dresses, and how does that
Yeah.
tie in with muscles and personal trainers and
Um, this is such a, it developed by just working with clients, but well, like I said, I was my first client. And when I got into bodybuilding, what I learned was that other people paint pictures. I sculpture bodies, and I sculptured my body first. And I remember actually looking at my body and then visualizing, okay, this is how I want to look like on stage. And I literally looked up other athletes and said, oh, I want her shoulders or I want her legs. And how would this look like? And I created workout plans just focusing on those muscle groups and started sculpting them. And I got the results. And I became really good at scanning bodies, knowing what workout would create a certain look. So I ended up having a lot of brides, getting them ready for their big day. So they have no worries about fitting in their dress. And I created the workout plans accordingly to their dress. So when somebody had like an open back dress, I was able to just sculpture their back or sleeveless or whatever it was. That's how I tailored the workout program to that person and their outfits. And it's just a fun journey to watch. And this is creating.
mm-hmm,
This is, and I do it, another thing too, in a healthy way. I
mm-hmm.
can put anybody through a regime, crush the person, do a crazy diet, and say, voila, here we are, and see you later. No, I prep them for that day, and they get actually a post diet and workout regime afterwards. So, what do you do after the big day? So, you got ready. The diet is a little bit more fine tuned for getting ready for a special day. That's like literally tuning in and fine tuning it for a special time, so to speak. And then afterwards, how do you create a diet where you're not having that yo-yo effect
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm,
slowing up your metabolism or gaining extremely fast
mm-hmm.
because you don't know what to do afterwards? The diet I create beforehand, like I said, is dialed in, fine-tuned, and maybe a little bit more stricter than I would go if it's a healthy lifestyle. But other than that, I want them to have them a plan afterwards as well.
That's really fascinating. And I think that will be really relevant to a lot of women because they do think about how they're going to look in a dress. And you're right, the plan for the wedding dress.
Mhm. That's just, but there is anniversaries, birthdays, like whatever. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun and it's amazing because those women are motivated. You wouldn't believe how strong and committed a person can be.
And it,
They
it's
get-
it's amazing how the body can change, and it's relatively fast when you start to put the work into it.
yes,
It's not a day, but you start to see it in a week, 2 weeks,
right,
and
right.
it can feel really good. I end up going through these periods where I work a lot, or for example, recently got sick with a parasite for a couple months to recover, um,
Wow.
lost a lot of weight, and working out and oh, I was so pathetic. I was literally barely lifting like 2 pound weights. Ah!
Wow. Yeah.
And then
Isn't that
oh
amazing though?
yeah, oh, and
Mhm.
then after like the mood shift with lifting weights, the testosterone,
Oh, yeah.
oh, all the
Big.
chemicals, oh, pumping iron.
All
Oh
fancy.
yeah. And then, a couple days later, I have a bit of bigger bump now than I did when I started to work out. But oh yeah, look, the muscles are coming back. Ooh, ooh, yeah, I felt
But it's
sexy, felt
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Self-esteem, absolutely. And now you mentioned something really important, and this is where people just need to be aware of. If you lay in bed because you're sick, okay,
Hmm.
just being unable to move for 5 days, like not even a week, you're going to lose over 5 pounds of muscle in that
Hmm.
short period of time.
Hmm.
That's detrimental. That's a huge problem. And you need to make sure that you prevent or make sure that you can hold on to as much muscle in that time as possible. It's a big, big topic. Yeah.
And I'll add on to that neuromuscular training, the brain body connection.
Mhm.
Within hours of not moving a limb, your brain actually starts to reprogram itself to use that part of the brain for something else. So you're in bed
Mhm.
for a week and it forgets how to control the neck, the back, the shoulders, and it starts to
Correct.
use that part of the brain for something else, and it takes time to relearn it. A lot of
Yeah.
people re-injure themselves, or oh, my back went out again. Oh, it's happened ever since I had that initial injury. And it's all because their brain has forgotten, well, in part, there's muscle atrophy and wasting of the tiny control muscles. But in part, it's hard to recondition those when your brain doesn't use them because it's forgotten how to use them. The actual part of the brain that lights up on functional MRI has actually shrunk.
Yeah.
Your brain can't use your back anymore. You have to relearn. And I noticed that with myself. I need to put myself through a little bit of conditioning rehab for my quads. I wasn't actually firing the right quads, so I
Mhm.
needed some sort of control exercises focusing on activating vastus medialis.
Mhm.
And
And it's
yeah, sorry.
um, so, no, no, fascinating when we talk about injuries. I can tell you one thing. If you have an injury, for example, you broke your right leg, please continue working out your left leg, and the atrophy of the right leg won't be as much. The body does not let you lose the muscle. It is so amazing. People just stop.
Hmm.
I'm sure can't do anything. Please don't.
Hmm.
Go back and work the healthy side, and the injured side will keep the muscle up. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, because you're right. There's a communication signal through the body, but do we need to maintain this muscle or not? And if you're using the left side,
Correct.
it will send a, we're actually not, from what I've read, we're not quite sure why it works. The exact
I can only
mechanism.
tell clients that they are literally better when they work out when they're injured. I
We,
don't know any science about it, but I see it.
yeah, we do have the results that is the case. People who exercise, um, well, people who exercise throughout, whether they can exercise the limb that's in the cast or not, they rehab faster.
Wow, I need to research this. This is so fascinating. Yeah, I mean, I literally see it in my clients.
Yeah.
Like they get better results. It's so amazing. And that's like, again, when you have an injury too, really make sure that the the being active is in a very, very solid and grounded way. Because when you start working out after an injury, most of the time, whatever was injured is not quite as healed yet. And you have to be really careful. And that's where the most injuries happen again, right after, because you don't feel the pain anymore. You think you're good as new, and then you re-injure exactly the same spot again.
Yeah, and
So
it's
it's
often the control. Your body actually doesn't remember how to move your ankle, and you trip. Ah, rolled my ankle again, tore my ACL
yep.
again. And you're right. It's actually my book I'm working on today again is all about injuries and how to
Mhm.
rehab them and what happens in the healing process so that people who read it can understand what what goes through an injury, what happens in an injury, how long does the healing process take, is it okay if the exercise is hurt or not. Early on in an injury, you want to avoid pain, but if you're in
Mhm.
the remodeling phase, if it's been a few weeks for a moderate type injury, you actually want to push into pain a little bit, because you're breaking up scar tissue, and actually sort of weakened tendons actually respond well to putting a little stress on them. It triggers the tenocytes, the cells that make the tendon, to build bigger and stronger collagen. But if you don't put any tension on them, they're going to be like, oh, I don't have to do anything. There's no job to do.
Correct, correct. And you have a good point there, because muscle grows so much faster than tendons and ligaments. And most people don't understand that they need to train them as well. And if they have weaker tendons or ligaments, I always give them a little bit longer of a recovery time, so they're not getting injured in that specific area. But there is not as much blood circulation, not as much supply. So yeah, I see a difference in that as well.
So one thing I was interested, because I heard that you help people with exercise regimes before surgery. And a lot of people think of exercise after surgery, and even we're talking about the recovery phase. But a lot of people haven't heard of prehab, exercising, preparing for surgery. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yes, my pleasure. So whenever somebody has a surgery scheduled, let's say rotator cuff, hip replacement, knee replacement, if something like this is scheduled, usually I come in beforehand. I love to have as much time as I can get before the surgery. And I clean up the diet. It is an anti-inflammatory diet. It is a lot of high protein, high fiber foods, healthy fats, the perfect plate, so to speak. Get them to have like a super functioning, cleaned up body for recovery. So that's one part. And the other part is we are actually starting to practice the exercises they're going to do after the surgery. So there is exactly what you just said. This muscle-mind connection already there. The brain has trained those exercises, and they are so much better off afterwards because they know they have already trained that muscle, and the recovery is so much faster. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's. I wish the healthcare system was more interested in patient education and just making an altogether whole, healthier human recovers from surgery better.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I have too many books on the go. I have another book that's talking more about health and preventing cancer, or that's one chapter. And yeah, people who are encouraged to walk and be active, they don't get cancer again. Like statistically, they don't. Their body is better at killing cancer cells, and they don't have to come back to the hospital. The readmittance rate is lower in the group who is active.
Yeah.
So
always treat.
Yeah. So we should want healthy people will stay healthier and will recover better. You have to treat the whole person, which is what you said in our last video about its lifestyle. It's everything.
Absolutely.
And in healthcare, we call it lifestyle medicine, and that's the way medicine should be.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, well spoken, and there is a lot of work to do right now.